Thank you. It's slower than I am.
Mhm.
Listen, oh my goodness sakes. You cannot minimize. Okay, whatever. So I think we're live. I'm going to go double check. I've been Zuckerberg before.
Haven't we all?
It's hilarious. I don't see that it's live. So I'm going to go type it again. I didn't think it acted right. Live. Oh, live. Another two. Weird. Here we go. We're live. Yay.
Yay.
I'm going to make sure it's really recording. Yes, it is. Hi, everybody. It's Linda Marcus Smith here with yet another great person to interview for you get to know and love, follow, and help their comedy career right here on Comic Spot or whatever I'm calling it lately. I'd love to introduce you to the guest of the day, and he's sitting right over there in that square. His name is Jim Bryan. You might know him because he's a club owner. I told you club owners come on here. Here's one today for you to get to know. We'll ask him some questions that comedians want to know and the general public. So stay tuned for this. Don't run away. Don't just think you know it all because you know his name, because you don't. So let's see. His intro that he sent me said that he's the owner of the Church of Satire Club. It's in Pennsylvania. We'll find out exactly where and what the focus of the club is and what he's doing for comedy and his own career. He's also got specials on Amazon Prime, either special or special. We'll find out which. I'm not that good with little details, am I? Anyway, it's all about the person I'm interviewing, not me. Let's go to it right now. Welcome to the little stage here, the one and only Jim Bryan. Yay! Can you hear the applause?
I can. I hear the applause all the time. It's what gets me through my days. I just manufacture my own applause. How you doing, Linda? It's good to see you again.
Good to see you again, too. So, talk to us about where you live and your family situation these days? What's happening with that? People want to
Okay.
know.
Yeah, well, I still live right here in the South Central Pennsylvania area. I've been here since geez, I guess I've been here since 2007. I've been living in South Central Pennsylvania. So my wife and I live, we got our kids and got our business down here. And I mean, yeah, that's the lot of it. I haven't moved around too much. I've been here longer than I've been anywhere else in my whole life.
Huh? So, oh, let's hear about how many children and, you know, I don't know what ages they are. I don't know if you identified their who they are or if they're self-identified. I don't know what's happening in the world. Anyway, what you
Well,
have.
I got five of them. And they're like starting to get old. I have one that's graduated high school, uh, and has a full-time job, and like he's just, he's out there just eager to get his life started, and it's been really cool to watch. And I have another one that's gonna graduate this year, and she's gonna go to college, uh and then I have three others who are, as of February, I'll have three more teenagers. So I have five teenagers living with us right now. It's pretty wild. But yeah, they're getting old, a little more self-sufficient. Not like it was. I mean, hell, we probably haven't talked in 5+ years. So I mean, my youngest was probably 7 years old when we talked. Now he's fixing to be 13. So yeah, it's been interesting because it's my
That's,
first time doing this. You know what I mean?
yes, my daughter just turned 49, so I know what you mean about growing older and
Yeah, you just have to like prepare for this new relationship with someone that's at a different point in their life. You know what I mean? I
yeah.
imagine it'll be just as unique and interesting if I'm fortunate enough to be around when they're 49. It's been interesting. I thought I was going to be like, "Hey, you're 18, get the hell out of here." Uh, and I'm like trying to find ways to keep them close. It's
Oh,
kind of surprised me a little bit, but whatever.
that's cool. Well, let's go back and remind me and refresh the conversation from before. Tell everybody how you grew up. Were you shy? Were you the class bully? Which I doubt.
No,
Just
I wouldn't. No, not a bully. Uh, I mean, I would imagine, and I've even, I've talked to folks a little bit about like I was kind of a headache for teachers and stuff. I was, always pretty smart-mouthed and impulsive type of person in school. So that's just a personality characteristic. I mean, I'm still kind of like that. I still am completely like that, I guess, even now. So, uh, yeah, so like I was just kind of a class clown, I guess, but probably more of a class pain in the ass, if you know what I mean. If I'm being completely honest, I feel like I should apologize to some teachers. Uh, but yeah, I mean, I've more or less like taken that mindset. I haven't really developed much over the years. I'm still more or less the same punk, uh, just trying to do a little good in the world with some of the gifts and the blessings that I guess I have these days more than in the past.
absolutely. Well, I'll tell you what, as a comedian, I think that you are such, I really, you need to get your props. I see a lot of hardworking club owners that do a lot of hard work, and we don't know all they go through. But the few comedians slash club owners I've known are so busy trying to do things for making their club work, and you're in the thick of it, and you might not realize the lives you're touching, the lives you're saving by helping comedians. I just want to tell you from the bottom of my heart, and from others that may not have told you or don't even know how to verbalize it, thank you so much for the hard work the dedication, all the bills you have to pay, the toilets you have to clean, every single technical thing you have to do to make a club work. Thank you from the bottom up of all our hearts.
That's very sweet. Yeah, that's very sweet. That's like maybe the nicest thing that anyone's ever said to me. So thank you.
I
Thank
see
you
it.
for that. It That's very nice of you to say. I mean, you sure you don't run a club and are a comic? I mean, you kind of covered most of it. It does feel like overwhelming most of the time. Um I'm sure that if there are I don't know a lot of club owner slash comedians. You know, if there's like a support group that I'm not aware of, that would be really helpful, maybe. But
There should be. There should
I'm
be.
yeah, I mean, it's really hard because like my primary love in all of this is doing stand up. Like I didn't used to close my eyes when I was 15 years old and like dream of processing ticket fees and vacuuming and like that type, so it's hard to balance those things, but you get so attached to like watching people fulfill and achieve their own dreams by having a club. It becomes like becomes almost intoxicating a little bit to like hear people talk about how important it is outside and you know. So yeah, I mean, I'm seriously busy, and I think it's very kind of you to acknowledge that, Linda, in the way that you did. Thank you very much. I needed to hear that. That was nice.
It's so great. There are so many club owners who are comedians too, like Jim Perry. He owns JP's Comedy Club in Gilbert, Arizona, and he's always helping other comedians. Rocky Osborne, he's on Dry Bar. He had Ace's Comedy Club and his own career, and it's such a balance. Al Martin, he owned Broadway, Greenwich, and New York Comedy Club at one point, down to two by the end of his life. Um, and he didn't end his life because of being a bar owner, club owner. He he literally, surprisingly, left us all with no warning, um, because of his health. But that was surprising. And you know, Al Martin, for instance, got into comedy because he wasn't getting any stage time. He didn't think he was that funny, so he opened a club so he'd have stage time. There's a guy in Indiana that owned a comedy club, and he shut his down because the pandemic got so bad. But uh, I hear the stories, I see the hard work, and you know, I don't want to talk badly about other comics, but we're in our own world. We walk in, and I've seen a lot of comedians want everything complain and want everything handed to them on a silver platter and want to hit you up to be on shows and to headline instead of feature, and everything want. All you do is give. uh, it's a
Well, I think it's changed my mindset a little bit. Well, I know for a fact it's changed my mindset as a comedian because I when I send emails out, to be like, hey, I'm grateful for any opportunities, whatever. Like my expectations of getting a response are pretty low, and 10 years ago, I would have been like spiteful about that and I would have felt entitled and I would have passed judgment on, the recipient of that email when like now I know that like I get hundreds of emails a day. Like it's it's been so overwhelming for so long that I was like, I don't even know how to handle. I would need elves to handle all of this stuff, So so anyway, like it's changed my mindset a little bit. I'm grateful for any opportunity that I get, and I turn a lot of them down because like I'm here. I'm here. I'm working here, whatever. So I got to juggle, like I'm headlining a shows this weekend. I'm really excited about it as a comedian, it feels like, I feel like I'm punching above my weight a little bit when I look at some of the other people on the club's website, and I'm pumped, but at the same time, I'm like, I got to make sure that I get stuff set up here, so it's a real balancing act. It really is. And if like anyway, we do that support group thing. If some of them chaps you named want to talk about it, uh, I'd be open to suggestions too, on like, ways to even do better at both type of thing. So that's cool. Yeah, it's just really hard work. It's just
It's
what it
such a
is.
great idea to have a support group for club owners who are comedians.
Yeah, I mean, my Wednesdays are pretty good, uh,
Yes.
Thursdays around noon are kind of open for me. I can probably work something out. I think support groups for in general are pretty helpful, allowing people to come together and maybe commiserate with some forward-thinking initiative. That sounds like productive use of time.
Well, that's so awesome. I think what I'll do is I'll tag people on this post who are club owners that I can think of and ask the general public to tag other people.
Yeah, I get most of them would probably say, well, just go get a liquor license. But unfortunately, where I'm at, like in Pennsylvania, that's prohibitively difficult. So we have like an extra layer of cardiac stress over here, which is we rely completely and solely on ticket sales in order to manage. So it's definitely no small feat that we're still here almost 10 years later, 9 years later rather, operating in that capacity. Uh, but we do it. I got good people surrounding me all the time. A lot of people believe in this place. I believe in this place. So like it's a worthy endeavor. It always has been.
Tell me about the name Church of Satire Comedy Club, why you have that name, and tell me what focus your club has, and tell the other comedians that watch what kind of comedians you like having and which ones you pass on because comedy is subjective and all very often people have to make choices based on what they think their audience or they think is funny. So that's always good to hear.
Yeah, definitely. Well, the name Church of Satire is like it's not as probably as thought out and meticulously chosen as people might think. One of the things I noticed when I got to South Central Pennsylvania in 2007 was like there seemed to be as many churches around here as there was pizza places where I grew up. And there was always like a crowd of people, like they filled up every Sunday. And when I first started this, whatever, I was like, we were having a little bit of a hard time attracting people. And I was like, let's just call it church. We'll make churches everywhere. Maybe it's just a church thing type. Maybe if they would just come to anything that you called church. And it was really just that dumb. It wasn't. And it just, I mean, and it sounded great when I thought up the name. I was like, I can't believe I can't believe no one's thought of this, first of all. So like I checked it out because usually just like as a comedian, you come up with like a great concept and you're like, no way am I the only person that's come up with this. That's low, you know. So I looked it up and I was like, damn, I can't find it anywhere. So I went out and I bought a domain for it, and it just sort of grew from there, I guess. We started calling it that for shows and started to get a little bit more attention, and people were coming, and then it just stuck. It's like Church of Satire is one of these things in my life that like I take credit for coming up with it, but like I lost control of it years ago. Like it has just been like this avalanche that I've just been surfing down for a while now. I mean, it's pretty widespread. People all over know about it. Uh, I mean, like I said, I just thought up the idea to try and sell 5 tickets instead of 0 tickets, and here we are now. Uh, in terms of like my booking preferences, I do think it is preferences. I think that people probably got to appreciate that like a business owner is going to have preferences, you know, and I think like I try to do my best to be as like open-minded and you know with booking and stuff. But there's 52 weekends in a year. I'm probably going to close for two of them, you know, just for some reason or another. So there's 50 weekends. We've been open for 10 years. Like I could fill every weekend with showcases to promote local talent and headliners that I've already worked with that I know are funny, that I know are reliable, dependent, and professional, that I know treat my own team with respect and dignity, and they're pleasures to be around. And if you think of it like that, like I've been around for close to 10 years. Some places have been around for 20 years, and it's like they probably got their group that like these are who they're going to spend time with all year round. This is their life. So like you want to surround yourself with people who are like kind and good to be around. And in this business, I need them to be funny, right? Like that is part of the deal here. But you know, there's a lot of funny people. There's like no shortage of funny people here, you know. So anyway, I think that's important. And for comedians that might be listening to this, um, I guess the advice would be to like be mindful of like how you're acting when you're in in a comedy club, especially for the first time. I mean, you want to be sincere, like don't like you know don't pretend to be nice. I mean, if you're just kind of a jerk by nature, that's okay too. You know, that's okay. You could just be respectful of people. You know, um, but I may ask my staff, I may ask my squad, like, hey, you know, I'm looking to book. Like, who do you guys think? Like, who should we bring in? Right? And think about who they may. Would you be suggested by perhaps the person in the sound closet or one of the servers or a hostess? Would those people recommend you if they were asked? Who should we bring in this weekend? And perhaps that'll guide your conduct, right? I mean, it's just it's an element of professionalism is all.
Yes.
Um, and not everybody, but it's a learning curve, right? Because this comedy and entertainment industry in general, like there's not like a Xerox printer, and it's not like it's that type of an environment. So professionalism sometimes becomes a little bit more of a fluid situation. And, you know, I think there's there's always one more comedian than there is actually people living in that town. Like there are so many comedians out there. It's very competitive. And sometimes like just being funny is not necessarily enough to get you noticed or
Yes.
remembered. And so anyway, like that from my club owner perspective, I mean, I think that's probably the best answer I could give to folks, you
Well,
know.
that's
I don't
perfect.
know how other club owners do it. I never asked for anyone. I never asked for advice on this. Like I just started doing this the way that I wanted to. Uh, so at this point, like, you know, old dog, new tricks type of thing. I don't know how they do it, but that's how I do it. And I've been doing stand up a long enough time that like I think that the other club owners probably do it kind of similarly. Um, so I force myself out of this comfort zone, though. I feel like I'm talking too much right now, but
No, not at all. This is how we
uh,
get to know you. We don't know you, and but just keep talking.
every July, every July, what we do here is I open up all of the weekends to opportunities for people who I've seen here. They've been working here. They've come through the ranks, or I've seen them do, and I offer them a headline spot that like they haven't been offered before. So like we set aside that whole month, and it's nothing but people who are getting their like first shot to do 40 plus minutes and people are like nervous and it's just that it's a cool moment to be around, you know, because like not everybody comes through the other side like, you know, like now it turns out not everybody's ready, you know, like that happens. Um, and we try to use it as like a learning experience, to be like, well, you didn't, but whatever, 20's your groove, keep working your 20, whatever. And then sometimes, most of the time, people come out there and they're not sure what they're capable of, but we make them, I blow them up in terms of confidence. Like I'll hype them up, behind closed doors, just letting them know that like I picked them. This is one, like I picked these folks. Um, I wouldn't put them up there if I didn't think they could do it. I'm staking my business that they can, uh, but some of them go out there and it starts a whole momentum where I start seeing them on posters, headline and other shows, and that's really cool. And I force myself to set July aside to do that because, frankly, life is busy, life is difficult. I got a million things going on. I could fill that month in a heartbeat with just cool headliners I've had here 5 times before that I know are going to sell some tickets and they're cool to hang out with. Put it on the books. I don't even need to think about it anymore, you know? So it's easy to fall into that. And I try my best to still be like, you know, somebody that is actively trying to give people opportunities.
I
Um,
want to I want to say something that I really feel too, as far as comedian to a club owner. There, I see a lot of entitlement going on with people that walk into clubs looking for what's in it for them. Like I saw a lot of it with wise guys in Vegas. People come expecting their first time through or their 10th time through to headline or whatever. And people are constantly coming in asking for favors or expecting this or wanting a nicer club or better seating arrangement or critical people coming in and okay, I'm going to revert back to something I heard in the 60s from a president who got shot. Lincoln, uh, John F. Kennedy said, ask not what your comedy club can do for you, ask what you can do for your comedy club. I changed it. And I think that uh, comedians could rise up faster in the business if they would walk in less entitled and looking for if there's um, something missing at the club, offer to start it or do it instead of like, if I do this for you, will you make me a headliner? Just walk in the clubs and see what like for instance, I know at Comic Strip Live here in New York City, which is like my home club, they've had my back from the minute they met me. Am I a headliner? Do I feature often? No, I don't. And I'm not even past at the club, but I can see things that are missing in the club and recommend it or offer to do it, not so that I will get past and not so that I'll be featuring or headlining on a big show, just because as a human, I see the dedication and I might see something they don't see that's missing in the club that can help their business. So instead of walking in and observing what's missing and criticize it, like you mentioned, in this business, there's no support group. Well, let's put the word out and get it started. It's missing. That's a great idea. In a comedy club, like I was going to say at Comic Strip Live, they have all these pictures of all these amazing stars that have gone through there, and some of the names you can read, but not even half of them, and you don't even know if they're still alive. So I want to see that they get little plaques for everybody and put their names. Pretty soon, new people at the club aren't going to know who these people even are from 1972, you know? So there's always something you can notice and maybe help a club or help, or start or just mention, and maybe they never thought of it.
Well, and they got to be willing to listen too. I mean, it's like anything else, it's in terms of like entitlement. I mean, I've run into folks like that in every stage of my life, in all of my different career places. Like there was always some people where you were just like, what the hell's the matter with this person? Um, but in my experience in stand up is maybe I was even that person really early in my career too, where I was like, I should be doing more than I am. And as I matured a little bit and got knocked down a bunch of times, right? Like you either you choose to recognize that you're going to work the process and you're going to be ready when your moment comes. And the best way to be ready when your moment comes is to be like well practiced, polished, and like ready to perform and in a good mood and positive. Like that's just my mindset. And I think that I don't know. I don't run into too many people where I'm like, ugh, this person. That's a pretty small list. I mean, it is a list. Don't get me wrong, but uh, it's a small one, which is all right. And some of those folks, like they started on a list, but I liked them still, so like I was comfortable being like, listen, like we should probably talk about how you're acting, you know, because you see that there's like reason and to invest in this person. Like this person has a potential and so like I've certainly pulled some of the people that were entitled and bratty over time to be like cut it out whatever like and they've moved on like they've done pretty well. It's a lesson that they learned and that's great. I was happy to help them with it. Other ones, you're like, I don't want to invest the time in this person. Like, they just can let them be. They can be a jerk to somebody else. Like, whatever. It's just not going to happen here. Um, and I think that that's like a personality situation. Like, bookers and club owners and business owners and, managers and individuals in general. Like, they have personalities that they're like kind of not willing to invest in staying connected to them. It's just what it is.
Yeah.
Uh, so I just think that sometimes maybe people don't think about how they're acting. And that's not
Yeah.
just a comedy thing. That's not a comedy club thing. That's just an in general thing. People
Yeah.
don't realize how they're acting sometimes.
Sometimes, well, my friend Helene Witt and I, we started a class that like we think it can help comedy clubs. And so we came up with a curriculum of thinking, stop thinking like the mentality of being a bringer and think bigger than that. So if a club says, well, how many people can you bring? You should think, well, how many fans do I have? Let's see, do I have fans from high school, from college, my friends' fans, friends who have friends? And don't think small about a bringer. We stop ourselves and we don't help the clubs if we a lot of times in New York City and some clubs that have a bringer scenario when you get invited to a bringer we feel put down like we're never breaking through the bringer thing and Helena and I came up with a course how to think beyond you're just a bringer to you're growing your own fan base. Get a grip. And what ways can you grow that fan? How many branches can you have in your fan base so that when you do get offered something that has a bringer thing to it, you got no problem because you got a fan base.
I mean, that's our job as comedians is to like try and build a fan base. I mean, that's now church satire's never done a bringer, not in 10 years of existence. I have no intentions of ever having bringer shows. If you bring people with you, thank you. If you bring people with you and you're funny and you meet all of that other interpersonal criteria that I kind of talked about already, the fact that you can bring people might move your resume to the top of the pile, might get you more work with me, but it's not going to be a condition for your performing on this show. It's just not something I'm going to do. Now, that's not to smear. I'm not a bringer smear campaign guy, like whatever, I get it. It's just a choice that I made here. And I
Exactly.
probably is rooted in the fact that like I am a comedian, and I wanted to create a space where that wasn't going to be something that happened, like I've driven pretty far where like my people didn't turn out and like I couldn't go on stage and th that was not a fun experience. It was pretty disheartening. So I'm not looking to have that happen to folks. Uh, But everything else that you said, I mean, yes, of course, definitely.
Yes. So, so, so you have this comedy club and you have a thriving marriage and oh, your children are almost out of the house. At least a couple of them are getting close. Not that they'll choose to and not you're not rushing it. So what else is going on with your life? What do you do when you're not Jim Bryan, the club owner? And tell us more about your Amazon Prime special or specials that you have.
I had a I had a half an hour, maybe 35-minute comedy show that had a run on Amazon Prime. It says that it's not available in my area. Last time, a few years ago, I looked to be like, I wonder what it's up to. And it was like it's available somewhere, but it's not available here. I don't know where it's available. I was joking with my wife that like some village has Amazon Prime. Uh and there's like some icon to like the horse joke or some shit. You can't watch it anymore though. So if you missed it, sorry, America, you're kind of out of luck. Uh, I put another show up, a recent one actually. It's like a maybe a 45-minute show, maybe 40-minute show. I don't know. Been tinkering with some production capabilities at the club. So multiple cameras and um I've actually so anyway, I put and some new stage lighting and stuff. So we're tweaking with it. So I've been recording a lot up here. And mine it was a good show. Like I did a weekend. I usually do one a year here. Uh, and I like to try and record it, but this time I did with two cameras, and that's on YouTube right now, on the church's YouTube channel. The YouTube channel is called Not a Real Church. Uh, so that's on there right now. And that like there's I can't really say like this is like a comedy special. That would not be an appropriate description of it. It was just a banger show um, with a lot of new material, packed house. It was just an incredible show. Everybody crushed, and I got to go up last after like three people had just really, really performed well. And it was just one of those great shows, and I'm not gonna like cut the best bit from each night to try, and that's way too much work for me. So I just picked the better show and was like, we'll put this one out. Um, Great show, so much fun, so much fun. Now, mind you, since that show, we've made some improvements on like the audio, and so like, of course, like I'm always the first draft of something. So like somebody else is going to get an awesome product and mine's going to look pretty shitty, but I'm happy with it. I'm happy with the show. So if somebody really wanted to watch like a long performance of mine, and I know no, very few people have the attention span to do that.
I
Uh,
will. I'll do
yeah,
it today.
yeah, you can watch it on Church of Satire's YouTube channel.
Can I share it on my Facebook?
Yeah, go right ahead. It's called the name of it is Church of Satire Presents, and I ended up naming it Unsolicited and not so special. That's what it's called. It's called unsolicited and not so special because it's not as special and not one single person in the world asked for it. But it's out there. You can watch it. I will say, like, no, I don't think anyone's made it to the end, if I'm being honest with you. I made the mistake of like looking at the analytics and like
Me too.
99% of the people like they watched like the first like 4 minutes or something, which I guess is impressive anyway, uh
Yes.
for that many people to have that long of an attention span. But I don't think anybody's made it to the end. And the closer's really good. It's a really good closer. It feels bad. I don't think anybody's watched it. It's kind of a bummer. But yeah, that's where if you wanted to watch my stand-up that, or you can just, if you're local or whatever, you can always come catch a real show in real life. We could like high five afterwards. That's always fun.
Sure. Yes, I want to find a time that I can get out to Pennsylvania. Me and Helene Witt will probably come together or I'll take a train. Doesn't matter. But I'm going to watch it today and I'm going to share it on my Facebook because I want other people to watch it and maybe we'll
That'd
find
be
a few other.
great.
Yeah, let's do
Yeah.
that. And so I want to know, what do you want to say to people who come through Pennsylvania looking for a good place to go to comedy? What do you want to say to aspire? You have to reject people. And I would assume that you seem a bit of a teacher slash comedy club owner. So I would assume if you get a video and you watch it and there's something that they're off base with or that doesn't fit your club, I don't think you would just ignore them. I think you'd probably give them a tip that could help their career. So I bet, haven't you, like when you've rejected people, haven't you tried to maybe give them a path or that could get them past at your club or help them in their career rather than just not even replying to trying to get on your shows?
Yeah, I mean, I think that I've had some where I have gotten asked if they want a headline, and I'll watch a video, which I don't like watching videos. I have to be honest with you. It's difficult. That's why I think it's so easy for not it can't just be me as a booker. Like, we lean into the people that we already know. We lean into the referrals that we get from people who we trust. It's like, if Linda comes out the headline and she brings Bob with her, and she's like, Bob is going to open for me. Sure, man, absolutely. Like, you bring your people and Bob comes out and Bob starts checking boxes, then maybe Bob can headline sometime in the future. And like, I didn't have to really do anything. I'm looking to streamline my process. So like, spending 4.5 hours watching video stuff, it's like, nah, man, life is too beautiful to watch shitty comedy on your computer. Like, the sky's blue outside and I'm watching somebody eat a total crap, just complete, and they're like, I want a headline. So sometimes I'll say, it might be good if you come through, and like, if you're willing to do a guest spot, like, it's not paid or nothing, but also it can suit your schedule whenever you're around. You want to pop in, like, I'd like to maybe meet you and see you do a little comedy, because like, maybe this tape's not the best representation of your skill set or whatever. Um, but to be able to do that on like a wide scale, I can't do that for everybody. I just can't.
Oh,
And I would like to apologize to everyone that's like, who's this guy? What the hell? Like, there's just not enough time in the day. And if I figured out how to freeze time, you think I'm gonna freeze it and watch open mic videos? What are you, nuts? That's crazy. Like, come on, man. I'm a human being, for
hilarious.
God's sake. Like, I'm halfway through with my life. I'm not looking to spend the back nine, like, wondering if I should book somebody who's like, not funny. It's just, what are you gonna do? So I try my best to develop people and pick the right people to develop, but it is what it is. You do the best you can. So, and that for comedians too, man. Like, it's really hard to be a comedian. Like, being a comedian and a club owner isn't just hard, it's like dumb. But being a comedian's hard too. Like, there's probably a lot of people out there that, like, they are ready to take that next step. And like, if the opportunity is like not around, that readiness might go away and maybe you miss. So it's hard to stay focused. I get it. It's a hard thing. I'm just trying to be part of the solution, but also trying to be like the best comedian I can be too. So,
Jim Perry out in Gilbert, Arizona, the Phoenix area. He lets me do a military show there around 9/11. He did this last year, and he's having me out this coming year to do guest spots on all the club shows that week, building up to the military show at the end of the week. So he's really giving me opportunities, you know what I mean? And I like him featuring, and he says, I'm not a headliner. I'm really not a headliner. I got my hands full with, the club. And he's as funny as a headliner. He's just as funny. He's not one to say, I own a club, so make me the headliner. But so that's always a fun trip for me to go out to
I
and
bet
learn.
'cause it's cool to work. It's cool to work with cool people, and yeah, me owning Church of Satire shouldn't have any bearing on the gigs that I get, and I'm sure that it has caused me to get gigs, like I'm sure it has. Uh, but I want to be as a comedian, like I want to be there because I'm skilled and experienced as a comedian, and not because I'm a club owner. But I'm
Yes.
also a realist, I'm sure I've gotten gigs where the person was like, now I'm gonna get a gig over at his place too, But whatever, I don't. Sometimes I'm like, fuck, I don't care, man. I got kids to feed, so his money folds, So I gotta go take the gigs, whatever. Uh, but I try. I mean, and I think that's like the best you could do, Like if you're coming through South Central Pennsylvania and you want to see a stand-up comedy club, you have one choice. So, there's not a lot out here. We're kind of pioneers in this region. It's not like there's been like failed comedy clubs before us in this area. There's never been one before. So we're just sort of like blazing our own new path without like anything to really copy off of, and with their outbeat with no bar and no kitchen in this location, we just got to get even more creative to keep this thing going and supporting other shows that pop up in our area, not trying to stifle them. It's if we see something pop up, it's like we share it on social media to be like, come see more comedy down here type of thing. Um, to just, more shows for more people, more comedians get shut. I can't give all the comedians opportunities, you know what I'm saying? There's too many of them. So if there's more shows out here, more of them can get up, more of them can get funny, and then maybe when they get real funny, they can come up to the next level, which is us here. So you create it's how you create a culture and a scene so that people can navigate it and be more successful. And then when they go to a neighboring city, they represent this area well.
Absolutely. Well, you've been a delight to talk to, and I think I should cut this short at this point and just I want all of you to know that Pennsylvania does exist. It's just not that far from New York City or Jersey. And so, like, you got to get out there and see other clubs. I remember the day, Jim, when people had specials, and the specials were special because they took that material and took it around the country for a year. And now I see specials popping up like rabbits. And
Yeah,
so,
there's a lot. There's a lot of them out there, man. Well, hell, I mean, I put one up. I put a 40-minute show on YouTube. I see. I'm part of the problem, right? I'm part of the
well,
problem.
I think specials can be, you know, special without going around the country, but I also see a lot of specials that aren't well tested material, aren't well delivered, aren't tested to work with the vast population in different segments of the country. So, you have the opportunity where people come from all over to your club. So you get a flavor of what works because somebody came from California or somebody came from Canada. And but so many people need to take into consider the big picture, and part of that is getting out of your New York, New Jersey, whatever, your own comfort zone, and go to a club that you haven't seen. Go to Pennsylvania, go to the Church of Satire Comedy Club with no expectations to walk in and go on stage. Go there to experience it and meet the people, get the flavor of the town, and you
You'll
know
be better comedians for it. I'll tell you what. Like you 10 minutes on Dwayne Reed doesn't mean shit out here. You know what I'm saying? It's just I'm telling you what it is, folks. Like that's just what it is, and the human experience isn't as specific as we think it is. And I'm not telling folks to dumb down their comedy, but I do think And this is kind of a peeve of mine is when, like a comedian comes from somewhere and maybe their material, which is highly specific to the area that they came from, and like the crowd doesn't really vibe on it, that like it's somehow the crowd's fault for not understanding them. And I think that's a little naivete because you got to get out of town to see how really unique and different other places are type of stuff. So, yeah, hit the road, get a reliable car, right? Find a reliable car, find somebody that is willing to take long drives with you and can also do good comedy. And if you do that, you'll get funnier, and by extension, you'll get more opportunities. That's
Yes.
facts, man. It's how I did it. It's how I see a lot of really funny people on a regular basis. And, when they come, they get better faster. It's just a cool thing to do. It's fun. Plus, also, it's fun. Do it
Yes.
while you can. For comedians that might be listening, like, do it while you can. It's a
Yes.
fun experience, get out there. Learn how to make people from Iowa laugh. Um, you know,
And also like people that own a club, you have a knowledge of comedy and comedians, but I've seen clubs pop up where they don't even know what comedy is. So I really appreciate a club owner who's in the comedy business for himself as well, because you know the history of comedy and other comedians in the last 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. So if they walk in the door, you know who they are. I've seen people legends walk in clubs, and the club doesn't even know they're there.
yeah, we don't see too many walkthroughs down here in Hanover, Pennsylvania. It's not, if a comedy great were to walk into our club, and it's happened, right? But it's I knew they were coming. Um, it would be a show-stopping experience, and like, I'm trying to build something here that is like, I have other businesses that, I work to you know, keep bills paid and stuff, and the club's not pulling its own weight. And, it's what we're building here is like trying to be like legacy building type stuff, like the type of thing that like my kids can be proud of, and the type of thing that like, it's not when we're talking 5, 10 years from now, like there's not just one of them. So like we have like really big goals here. And we've just spent a lot of time building a strong foundation. And that foundation is built in, like, I don't know how much of a businessman I really am, to be honest with you. Like as a business person could probably be much more successful at this uh, than I am. So some folks, they run it just like a business. And I don't think that they're probably not reaching their full potential, um, is all.
Exactly.
So
I
we
love
find,
this. Yours, I think you have a unique brand in that all that you said that you do for comedians to bring a whole month in July to give people opportunities to headline. What a great, to push people beyond their comfort zone and give them tips and believe in them and spend time preparing them for that opportunity. That
it's
puts you
my
above
It's
other
my fa yeah,
clubs.
it's my favorite month of the year, honestly. Now,
That's
I'm not trying to win a Nobel Peace Prize over this. Like, I
oh,
started doing it because historically, July is like the worst month. I can barely sell tickets as it is. So, like, I'm not a hero here. I'm not like giving up November and December nights for rookies. But it I'm a baseball guy, so like I'm a farm system guy, I'm a spring training guy, like like you develop by putting in the time, and you got to be allowed to make mistakes, but you also got to be like willing to correct your mistakes. So like we started the School of Satire a couple years ago. It's like turned into something that I'm really looking forward to. We've done 3 sessions of it, and next year I'm doing one every single season. So that you're right. Like that, I don't know, that part is cool. And maybe not running a, I don't have a bar or a kitchen to worry about. So like now I have the bandwidth to do development stuff. Whereas like frankly, other clubs like they dude, if they're like managing bar and kitchen and all of this, like I mean, I understand they don't have time for like a development wing of their operation. So I mean, I'm sure they're doing everything they can to try and stay afloat too, you
The
know?
other thing I like about your club is that I'm not hearing you say that you have independent shows going on. They sound like they're all club shows.
Yeah, almost exclusively. I do have a program where like you can rent the club on an off night, sell tickets and do your own thing, and that's not a Church of Satire branded show. But like most of the stuff that comes up, like somebody will come to me and be like, "Hey, I got a crazy idea for a show." And I'm like, "I'm already interested." And we just do it. And I'm like, "I'll slap the brand on it. We'll try and that'll help sell tickets hopefully." And then the really good ones, like I just put them on the calendar and we just do it quarterly or monthly. And we've created some cool ones in-house, like the baptism show, where, I have a host who he travels around like South Central PA doing mics and comedy, and like him and my guy, David, it's Dom and David, like they curate a showcase worth of people who are really funny but haven't gotten a chance at the club, and then we baptize them at the club and we do a baptism show. We do a confessional show, which is an improv show where we have somebody who just takes comedian confessions for an hour and a half, 2 hours. It's like a marathon show. It's crazy with like chanting music and it's wild. Uh, so yeah, we try all kinds of stuff, and not everything works. Like we've tried some that I thought they were great ideas, and they turned out to suck. And then we bag them. We bag them and we move on. So uh, yeah, we don't farm out too many of our nights. We try and keep them as many Church of Satire branded nights as possible. But I do offer the opportunity for people to rent it if they really wanted to.
That's good. Um, so I would just like to thank you for coming on. So I'm going to go to your YouTube for Church of Satire Comedy Club and Church of Satire Club and watch your 45-minute video and put it out there. And I'll send this out to YouTube today. And then from YouTube, I'll put it out for you to share it if you will.
For
And is
sure.
there,
Happy to.
in closing, Jim, what would you like to say that I didn't drag out of you or get you talking about? You can talk up to 5 minutes to customers or comedians or whatever you want to say right now. Anything.
No, I don't think not that I can think of. I mean, it's a hard job to pursue something that you really want to achieve at, but like perhaps maybe it doesn't offer the stability of like a biweekly paycheck. Like, it's a hard thing to do. So I'm just grateful that people come to the club. I wish that everyone would come and more people would come and it would be totally full all the time. So tell a friend, tell a foe, tell a coworker, right? 106 Broadway, Hanover, PA, churchsatirecomedyclub.com. And for anybody that might be watching it, and looking at me as like the comedian, you're certainly welcome to watch that comedy special. But come to a show sometime if you see me in your area. That's the best part of all of this is doing stand up for people. So uh, it's where my heart's at. So come to a show sometime. Support the clubs in your area too. If you're watching this in another area, uh, comedian or patron, like support your comedy clubs, because if people don't show up, they're not going to stay there. It's just what it is, and then you'll have no comedy. That'll suck.
And if you have a comedy club and get to know Jim Bryan and put him on your shows. He's dedicated his life to helping other comedians and running a club. And watch the video I put out today.
Thank
Decide for yourself if he's a fit for your club to book him.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm comfortable. I'm confident that you'll book me. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just shooting my
The egos in this business. Can we talk? Oh my God.
Yeah, no, mine's ridiculous. Mine's absurd. Mine's absurd. I have delusional opinion of my abilities. There's no reason for me to be that confident whatsoever. The thing that you're gonna watch, it's got like 500 views that most people made it 3 minutes. Like, hey, everybody book me, right? Like I'm some hotshot. Jesus, my wall's not even finished behind me. I had to blur my wall because I can't even finish one single project. But here I am. I'm some kind of big shot. Jesus. So, anyway, hey, I'm glad we got to talk again. It was good to see you
You
again.
too. Thank you so much, Jim Bryan,
Hey,
Church of
have,
Satire Comedy Club.
thanks,
Thank you.
everybody. Take care. Have a great
Bye,
day.
Jim.
Bye bye.
Bye.